Oh, shoot. For the day, beautiful people. Global purpose, peace, and blessings. Dawn, peace, love, and light, sis. Did I send out any emails yesterday? I did, Global Purpose. Did you email me? I didn't see one from you. I had double check, depending on what time you sent it. I checked them probably about almost noon. Is when I did, like, I think that's the only check I did yesterday. Did you email me after 12 noon yesterday? Because if you emailed me after 12 noon, I don't think I went back to check the emails. Because after I submitted my stuff, I had like a little bit of a break and I logged in real quick to check and send it to everybody that asked for it. Let me see. Auntie Belinda Brown. Hey, girl. Hey. Love, light, and healings. Let me see. Let me check it real quick before we get started. Let me see. Global Purpose. Hold on, Facebook. Just one quick second. Hold on. No, I didn't get it. This comes from somebody else. This one. I'm gonna have to respond to that. She was asking for a couple of things. Nope. I don't see you in there. Just resend it to me. Marlene, I definitely didn't get that. I definitely didn't see a Marlene from yesterday. So resend it to me. Let me reshare my email. I think I spelled my email right. Tone the lonely #1. Shalom, fam. Shalom, shalom. Okay, y'all. let's get started here. Let me put this right here first. The chapter. I think we read that. Stabilizers. Nope. Nope, we didn't. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. All right, beautiful people. It is Thursday. Nope, it is not. I'm looking at the wrong date. I'm looking at the wrong day on my thing. It's Friday, December the 30th, 2022, day 302 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1321. Those are the days we have been present, with the exception of the Sabbath and the week hiatus I had to take. All right, I got it. Global Purpose. I'll send it right when we're done. Today, we're reading a little bit more of Celeste's letter. And if you don't have it, if you would like it, this is giving us some more background information on Oahspe. But just email me and just put in the subject Celeste's letter. And I'll make sure you get a copy of, it's freezing up. Maybe I just need to restart it before I start, because I'm reading it off of here. Let's kill this. Let me restart it. And after we read a little bit of that, my goal is to read a little bit more of the Field Guide to the Spirit World. So we're going to probably read a couple pages of that, and then we'll be done for today. Okay, let this restart. But Father, we thank you that you are so very gracious. All right, y'all. Okay, I'm waiting for this to restart. Oh, so guess what I got in the mail yesterday? Open this up. We are on page 16. Yep. Guess what came in the mail yesterday? I got 2 different versions of Oahspe that came in the mail, right? So I got this one, which I believe is the same exact one Cosmon had. He took a picture, and I looked for the picture that he posted in our group. This is the Kissinger's Legacy reprints, right? And it's in 2 volumes, right? Oahspe Bible, volume 1 and 2, New Bible in the Words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors, right? The first volume is thicker than the second. I haven't gone through to line up the chapters and all that good stuff yet. But it came out. Super excited about this. This is the year. This is copyrighted 1882. The editor's preface is 1882. I want to say this is the 1882, right? I think it was a couple versions of 1882. Not exactly sure which version of 1882, but also y'all heard about the green cover Oahspe. This jack came too. Now this was used. It came from somebody. I forget where it came from. And this could be this. Look, it for real. It could be the same as this one, but there was. I don't remember exactly what they said the difference was between these 2, but I know there's a difference. And at the beginning of this one, maybe this is just Kissinger's little thing, but I've never seen the tree with the the snake wrapped around it, right? It's always the sign of Jehovah, right? The circle with the cross and the leaf blowing. I noticed this difference right off top with Kissinger's reprinted version of 1882. Let me see something. Okay, so the glossary, all of these got the glossary in the front. Publisher synopsis, index. Yeah, all of these older versions has all the stuff that we see in our day, glossary and index in the back of the book. All of these are in the front of the book. Even Big Blue, their lowest edition, they put all of that in the back, right? That's when I saw that, I wasn't used to seeing that in front of books, right? But it would make sense that they would put it at the beginning so you can kind of look and see what's coming ahead versus just forgetting about it in the back and never going to it, right? It actually makes sense to me why they would do that. But like I said, I haven't gone through to see what the differences are. I got to go back to where I got it. The notes about this, about what the differences was with the green cover, which is they saying is no longer in print, but somebody on Amazon, and it was only one copy, right? And it was pretty expensive, right? But I want to say, let me see real quick. Let me just check real quick. Previous orders. Here we go. This shipped from, yeah, now if you go to it, it's currently unavailable because I got the last one. I think it was just this one anyway. This is the first edition. The first edition, the first edition of this one, 1960 Ray Palmer facsimile, Oahspe Publishing Association. That's the green cover one. But I thought it said where it came from, like, because it took a little while to get here. It was a lot longer than. Where is a shipper? Hold on. Okay. View this order. That's what I was looking for. Sold by. They labeled it a collectible. They are. Doesn't really say. I'm sorry. No, it does. I found it. It came from Arizona. Vicky's something. A Diane Adams. Yeah, Diane Adams in Arizona. Sent it. Vicky's Values is who had it. Okay. All right. Hana Shalom. Keep peace, sis. Okay, y'all. So go back to I forgot. You got to email me for it if you don't have a copy of it. So if you want to copy this is the letter from Celeste about all their research over the years with Oahspe and what we call the John Lant plates. And then we changed the name to the so-called John Lant plates. We found out that it's not. This was actually typewritten after Newbro died by his daughter, right? This is actually called the El Paso Oahspe, right? So what we're super excited about is the El Paso Oahspe that was retyped by his daughter after he died. Okay, but not to be discouraged. It's a part of the clues. Okay, page 16 on the PDF. This is another letter. It's an introduction to The More of Oahspe by Jim Denon. And you can actually get that from Amazon. If some of you may already have it already. And I forgot, and everybody else hanging out in the background. Top of the day to you. So let's get going. Okay. Introduction to More of Oahspe by Jim Denon. Jim Denon, Seaside, Oregon, July 1983. The contents of this volume are part of a 30-year collection of Oahspe history and memorabilia. The intent of this effort is to bring the manuscripts, which were not included in Oahspe, into one volume. This book is what I would like to have had a long time ago. This book is what I would like to have had a long time ago. It gathers together what was scattered in separate publications over many years, if you could find them. For the benefit of the readers who haven't heard about the missing parts of Oahspe, it should be explained that in the 1882 first printing of Oahspe, hold on, it should be explained that the 1882 first printing of Oahspe was not the first version of the book. The very first plates were made during the year of 1881 from the original manuscript of Oahspe and as it was being received. See, that still don't make sense to me when he said that, because this is hold on. Is this? I think we read this somewhere. Either I read it to myself or I read it out loud. We probably did, because I made a mention of this part right here. We were talking about how he couldn't read it. Newbro couldn't read the document until the overshadowing event was completely done. But here it says, the very first plates were made during the year of 1881 from the original manuscript of Oahspe as it was being received. That kind of contradicts what Newbro said. He could have it wrong, maybe just not paying attention. I don't know, and it could be true, but there's a contradiction with that. The very first plates were made during the year of 1881 from the original manuscript of Oahspe as it was being received. These plates were made by Dr. Newbro's printer friend, John A. Lant, whose print shop was located at, yeah, definitely we read this, because I corrected the address. I got this is part of the real address. They put 207 to 209 West 41st Street, New York City. You can actually drop the 209. It was actually, and I verified it, and it has his name in the actual phone book record as 207 West 41st Street, New York City, New York. John Lant died. We definitely read this. It was that purple, no, not purple. It was that green page. Okay. John Lant died January 1913 at Florissant, Missouri, but not without leaving ample evidence that he was indeed the first to make plates for what was to have been the first edition of Oahspe during 1881, but his plates were never used. He took proof prints of each plate as they were made and saved them away. Via Shalom, OJB Shalom. Yeah, right. We're reading from the letter. I sent it to you yesterday. We're on page 16. Jamia, Shalom, Shalom. Page 16 of Celeste's letter. Okay. But this is actually included in this letter. She has some things that she's compiled. We actually read this the other day. I gave y'all the link for it. For where we read this from, the Jim Denon files online. The 1882 first edition of Oahspe was actually the second printed version from totally different electrotypes. And I think that's what this is. The green Oahspe. Yeah, the 1880. Yeah, this is the 1882 first. Okay, let me put this.
I'm gonna just as fast as possible.
What you say, son?
I'm just as fast as possible. Tell me why, right? I had a dream and I got signed for a gym thing. For some reason, I made over $250,000 off of this and deal, or something happened. I got $250,000. And guess what I did with that $250,000?
What did you do with it, son?
I took a portion of that money and invested it into a Dodge Charger SRT because Challenger
Why would you do that?
because it was just a simple fact. I want one. It was just like I can use the rest of the money for something else, but this is a must grab.
Yeah, no, you got it backwards. What you should
I
have thought about doing
for my enjoyment.
No, this is what you call a doodad, as Robert Kiyosaki would say. You don't purchase doodads first. Cars and clothes, no, you don't do that. If you want that, you invest in some property, something that's going to continue making you money, not take money out your pocket. That car ain't making you no money unless it's a part of a fleet business that you got going on, right? No, you invest in something that's going to continue making you money, passive income or aggressive income. And then with the profits you make from that, you can reward yourself with money for a little doodad and go buy you a car, some clothes, some jewelry. Don't put that money out first for that. That's foolish.
Y'all think it was a bad idea? I mean,
that's a bad. I'm telling you, that's a bad idea. Like, that don't make good sound business sense if you're gonna build wealth.
Right. I should have got a Hellcat sedan version. You're right. I should have invested my money in something a lot more better.
You got time to develop. Hold on.
I know what to do.
Jeremiah, you messing me up. Actually, the second version made from the second totally different set of electro
where's that CMOS
plates, not from okay. So this is the first printing of a Oahspe. And you can even tell here. Look at how they the type font for this particular Oahspe. It looks like that old West type letters.
Did y'all eat CMOS?
The what?
CMOS.
Yes, the CMOS is gone, son. I gotta make some more. Oh, you could drive out to Desmond's in Virginia Beach and get some.
Oh,
theirs is good and high quality. Put your tag in the back. Okay. All right. Back to the letter. What time you got to be? You went to the warehouse or to the site?
Warehouse.
All right. Well, get a move on. The 1882 first edition of Oahspe was actually the second version printed from totally different electrotypes. The 1891 second edition was revised from the 1882 version printed from still newer plates, which was really the third version. And I'm wondering, that's what I need to check this version right here that I purchased that's like Cosmos. If it says 1880, I gotta like go ahead and verify to see if this is also the first printing of the technically the second printing, if these two are the same. But they changed a couple things, so it's probably don't quote me. I want to say not, because they changed like the font for Oahspe, and also they put the tree with the snake going around it, right? In the beginning, they replaced the sign of Jehovah. Iman shalom, shalom. Okay, the 1882 first edition of Oahspe was actually the second version printed from totally different electrotypes. The 1891 second edition was revised from the 1882 version printed from still newer plates, which was really the third version. Wing Anderson purchased the 1891 second edition third version plates from Dr. Newbro's daughter about 1930, and it was from these that he published the blue cover editions of Oahspe, no longer in print. And that is not to be confused, like I said, with the lowest blue cover edition, Big Blue. The 1891 Oahspe is still available in the English edition in a smaller, handy size. After a 15-year search to find a copy of it, in 1960, Ray Palmer reprinted the 1882 Oahspe, which made this the oldest edition available for first time since the 1880s. Marjorie Palmer's Amherst Press continues to publish this Oahspe, which is the current American green cover edition, no longer published by Amherst Press. That's this. right here. Okay. Yeah, okay. After a 15-year search to find a copy of it, in 1960, Ray Palmer reprinted the 1882 Oahspe, which made this the oldest edition available for the first time since the 1880s. This right here, right? This is it. I told it was almost $300, y'all. But it was the only one. I couldn't find it anywhere else. After seeing it, spotting it, putting it in my cart, and running a real quick search, because I know these go fast, and everybody kind of interested in the Oahspe now. I was like, I'm gonna take about 5 minutes to run a quick search. I ran through like 6 other websites, and to no avail. I went right back, hit it, send it to me right now. Right, this is the oldest printed version out there. So all the ones that's out there now, people got them in their homes, and if they don't want to sell them, it ain't nobody new gonna get one, right? All right, unless somebody like Kissinger's legacy reprints, unless they can like get a copy of it and they actually reprint it, right? So that's what I need to check and see if this legacy reprint is in all actuality a copy of this. And once I figure it out, I'll let y'all know. Right? And that way, if you want the oldest one in print, you will probably have to get it from Kissinger. All right. Wing Anderson purchased the 1891 second edition, third version plates from Dr. Newborough's daughter about 1930, and it was from these that he published the blue cover editions of Oahspe, no longer in print. The 1891 Oahspe is still available in the English edition in a smaller, handy size. After a 15-year search to find a copy of it, in 1960, Ray Palmer reprinted the 1882 Oahspe, which made this the oldest edition available for the first time since the 1880s. Marjorie Palmer's Amherst Press continues to publish this Oahspe, which is the current American green cover edition. Note, no longer published by Amherst Press. Possibly among the materials Wing Anderson received with the 1891 Oahspe plates from Dr. Newborough's daughter, he received a large 24-inch by 24-inch scrapbook with proof plates pasted in it of material not included in Oahspe. These were John Lant proof sheets. The Essenes of Cosmon copied the Book of Knowledge from the contents of the Lant pages. This was done serially in 8 parts, separate booklets long out of print. Sam Bartlett published the Book of Knowledge in 1 booklet. He omitted some verses, but again made the manuscript available. Other proof sheet contents appeared in the Essenes Cosmon magazine, the Cosmon Pioneer Bulletin, in issues dated from 1954 to 1958. What I don't understand is if you're republishing something, why delete the information? I don't care if it is 1 sentence, possibly even 2. Why delete it? It's not even your work. Just do your job. Do it correctly. Put all the information in there. If you feel some type of way, do a commentary in the back. Jeez. They burn my buttons deleting information. Sending us on a hunt for missing stuff. Okay. It omitted some verses, but again made the manuscript available. Other proof sheet contents appeared in the Essenes of Cosmon magazine, the Cosmon Pioneer Bulletin, in issues dated from 1954 to 1958. In the 1960s, Wing Anderson helped me contact Dr. Newborough's family, from whom I obtained information for the Oahspe story and Dr. Newborough and Oahspe. These books are no longer in print, but are now being redone and expanded to include pictures and historical documents in 1 volume like this one. Wing furnished some historical records and a tape recording of an interview with Dr. Newborough's daughter. After Ray Palmer's 1882 Oahspe came out, Wing published a special Cosmon newsletter, which included the letters from Dr. Newborough and Andrew Howland and the Safa title proof sheet. This was the only Lant proof sheet ever made public. Only the contents were copied and published by the others. And we realized yesterday that that land proof sheet that we saw, would have looked like this. Well, it did look like this, right? From sci-fi. So sci-fi was there, but definitely some stuff has been added in sci-fi, right? So the tree we find in the lowest edition, right? But what makes this so interesting is that they separated the tree from what was written around the tree, right? And in their lowest edition we found yesterday that what was written around the tree is actually put on the first page of the book of sci-fi in the introduction, right? It's like, and that's what threw me off. It's like the introduction, and to me, it says to me an introduction. I'm just giving you a quick overview of what's to come here and what you about to read. The introduction of the book. It don't tell us that this was once a part of an original John Lant proof sheet around this picture that we're gonna come upon in 2 pages down the road, right? If they would just kind of keep this stuff together, we'd be able to put some clues together a whole lot faster, right? Because I think that makes, by looking at this, right? If you look at that tree, they call it the tree of languages in here. The tree is on page 519. The tree of language, rather, right? Within the tree of language, you have the different branches. You have the different nations of people, and what's this? Continents. All of that is in there. The tree of language, but with what they call the introduction here in the lowest edition, and I'm not sure that they were the first to do this because they got from the previous 2 editions, right? So I'm not sure that the lowest were the ones that separated this, right? If they would have kept that together, we would have been able to see like it. By looking at this like this and reading it, this tells me that all of these people eventually, like, we're part of one big family, right? But I don't know, it further destroys the whole separation illusion and racism and all of that stuff, right? We all are part of one tree, and I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on that. Let me hop back to where I was at. Okay. After a 15-year search to find a copy of it, in 1960, Ray Palmer reprinted the 1882 edition, which made this the oldest edition available for the first time since the 1880s. Marjorie Palmer's Amherst Press continues to publish this Oahspe, which is the current American green cover edition. Note, no longer published by Amherst Press. Possibly among the materials Wing Anderson received with the 1891 Oahspe plates from Dr. Newbro's daughter, he received a large 24-inch by 24-inch scrapbook with proof plates pasted in it of material not included in Oahspe. These were John Lant proof sheets. The Essenes of Cosmon copied the Book of Knowledge from the contents of the Lant pages. This was done serially in 8 parts, separate booklets, long out of print. Later, Sam Bartlett published the Book of Knowledge in 1 booklet. It omitted some verses, but again made the manuscript available. Other proof sheet contents appeared in the Essenes of Cosmon magazine. The Cosmon Pioneer Bulletin is in issues dated from 1954 to 1958. In the 1960s, Wing Anderson helped me contact Dr. Newbro's family, from whom I obtained information for the Oahspe story and Dr. Newbro and Oahspe. These books are no longer in print, but are now being redone and expanded to include pictures and historical documents in 1 volume like this one. Wing furnished some historical records and a tape recording of an interview with Dr. Newbro's daughter. After Ray Palmer's 1882 Oahspe came out, Wing published a special Cosmon letter, which included the letters from Dr. Newbro and Andrew Howland and the Safa title proof sheet. This was the only Lant proof sheet ever made public. Only the contents were copied and published from the others. The Cosmon calendar used at Shalom in 1885 came from Sam Bartlett by photostatic copy, the old liquid method. At the time I received it some 20 years ago, it was fairly good. Now it is old and yellow, but using an electronic copier, the image was recovered to be included here. The revisions to calendar verses in Oahspe, the Book of Sathantes, chapter 13, verse 13, and the book of Inspiration, chapter 14, verses 2-3 are given. The omissions from and changes to Oahspe from the original manuscript Dr. Newbrough received in 1881 is an assurance that Oahspe itself shall not become an object of adoration or worship. Oahspe is immaculate, which is blemished, as are all books. While Oahspe was written in the words of Jehovah, the Creator, it is not Jehovah's word. The Creator has never, ever written any book or Bible, nor does he speak or write in human words. See the book of Oahspe, chapter 1, verses 4-9. In the words of Jehovah means that someone inspired by Jehovah formed the inspiration into words. All words are formed either by spirits or mortals. In the case of Oahspe, the words were written by Etherians and transmitted to Dr. John Ballou Newbrough via automatic typewriting. The Patience Worth books were written in a similar manner years later. That's interesting. I'm going to look that up. The Patience Worth books. The patients, like hospital patients. No, that's not. It's like patience. Like I got a lot of patience with you right now. that patience. Let me just type it out for y'all, just in case y'all curious. Y'all want to go look it up. It's Worth books. Look this up. Typo. It say box. It should be books. I hate that. I be moving so fast sometimes. Okay, the Patience with books. I saw that one, Elijah. That's this. I saw that first. I'm like, good Lord from Zion. I ain't paying that for that book. When I came across this one, it made it like a steal to me. And you know what? Let me tell you something. It could have been the same person using a marketing tactic, right? It's the supply and demand. We got one left. It's one over here. Let's put one out here for like $18,000, but take the one we really want to sell. We really want to make. We just want to sell it for like $300, right? Put this up there and just kind of market them so they both pop up at the same time. $6,800. Hold on. That's why I put it in I saw that first. That's what made me immediately put it. I fell for the okie doke, the banana in the tailpipe. It could be the same publishers, possibly with a different company name, Amazon. I don't know, but I got it anyway. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that one. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Hold on. All words are for, let me go back. In the words of Jehovah means that someone inspired by Jehovah formed the inspiration into words. All words are formed either by spirits or mortals. In the case of Oahspe, the words were written by Etherians and transmitted to Dr. John Ballou Newbrough via automatic typewriting. The Patience Worth books were written in a similar manner years later. Words must stand on their own merit, irrespective of origin, nor does the value of Oahspe greatly diminish by the omissions and revisions, since its purpose is to free mankind from dependence on indirect inspiration. Any words, including Oahspe, the aim is for its readers to learn to hear Jehovah directly while fully conscious. His voice is not audible sounds like human speech, but in trees and rocks and all things without tongues. Spiritual things must be spiritually received with new senses, suis and eth. A prophet may translate what is received into words, but all inspiration in words is second hand to the listener or reader. It is one thing to listen to a witness, but better to be the witness. When the suis and eth senses are developed in the Cosmon brotherhoods, They will reestablish the College of Prophecy as Samuel did in the previous cycle. And I think that's going to take a lot of setting yourself apart and actually fasting, not just fasting TV, but fasting your body. Great Spirit, shalom, shalom. Selah, shalom, brother. I missed you coming in. BC, what's good, fam? Is that, hold on, I don't want to click on, okay, about, thank you. I was just about to say, what's this link, Ema? Okay, about the patient's word. Okay, thank you for that. Elijah said that's the wicked thing about all of this. As soon as people want to serve and seek out the Creator and all truth, they hide it and put it on high charge. They absolutely do, right? And that's another thing that burns my buttons. If you could actually burn buttons, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? Let's go back to this. When the suits and essences are developed, or your spiritual hearing, spiritual seeing, your discernment, right? When that's truly developed, that's a marvelous thing, right? Because it first start off and you're able to like, it's like, at least with me, with little things, like I knew every time the telephone was going to ring, and even before it rung, I knew who was going to be on the line, right? I could be thinking about somebody and they would call, or something would happen, or they would show up to the door. That's like little inklings of discernment happening unconsciously, right? It just happens unconscious, like, oh, girl, I was just thinking about you. Oh, like, and we're not even picking it up. But if we would learn how to sharpen that gift, we can call it a gift from Creator. If we learn how to sharpen our own gift, but everybody has it for real. If we learn how to sharpen it, we'd be like the prophet Samuel as he developed over the years, according to the Bible story. And you'd be able to, man, it's so cool. When the suits and essences are developed in the Cosmon Brotherhoods, they will reestablish the College of Prophecy as Samuel did in the previous cycle. The original text of Oahspe will be recovered, and they will write new revelations superior to all others. For in olden time, faithists were only instruments of revelation. In Cosmon, they are to become actual prophets themselves. The preface isn't complete without thanking those who helped bring a book about. And there are many who help assemble the materials and history of Oahspe, many of them now in spirit. This book is dedicated to the couple who started me on this path when I was 17 years old. My thanks to Quentin Borg, whose letter in Search Magazine's Oahspe Circle encouraged me to go ahead with this book, and for correcting some of the manuscript before the publication. And to my family, who tolerated long hours listening to the computer and electronic typewriter on which it was edited and typeset. And that little last portion, that wasn't on the website. I don't remember reading that out loud to y'all the other day. So they removed some of his letter. But thank you, Celeste, Joan, Peter, and Leslie for keeping it all in there. Thank you. All right, now, the old trunk. We're on page 18 of the document. Like I said, if you don't have the document, if you want it, email me, put Celeste letter, or you can even put the old trunk in the title, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I put my email in there. Up further, just go back to the beginning of the chat, the top of the chat, rather. All right. The Old Trunk by Joan Greer. Remember, Joan Greer is Celeste's mom. Revised and edited 2015. December 1951, Montrose, Colorado. On that evening in 1951, I was a new student of Oahspe, having been given it about a year before my future husband, Ken. Hold on. Sorry, let me go back. I messed it up already. On that evening in 1951, I was a new student of Oahspe, having been given it about a year before by my future husband, Ken Greer. His grandmother, Sarah Dolly Shady, who may have obtained her first copy through Andrew Howland, had passed Oahspe to Ken when he was 16 years old. Did you hear that? This lady, first of all, is still alive, right? She's still alive. Joan is still alive. Her grandmother, Sarah Dolly Shady, may have obtained her first copy through Andrew Howland, right? This is not that far back. Like that would be my grandmama, her mama's mama. That would have been during her time, right? Just 2 generations. I got to write three generations. Whatever. Some generations live longer than others. But you get what I'm saying. This is not that far back, y'all. His grandmother, Sarah Dolly Shady, who may have obtained her first copy through Andrew Howland, had passed Oahspe on to Ken when he was 16 years old. Ken wanted me to visit the scenes of Cosmon to see if I would be comfortable living in a faithless community. The Scenes of Cosmon were a group founded by Wing Anderson that had recently moved to Montrose, Colorado from North Salt Lake, Utah. Hold on, y'all. This alarm is gonna pluck my nerves. My son's alarm, and he in the shower. Okay. Ken wanted me to visit the scenes of Cosmon to see if I would really be comfortable living in a faithless community. The Scenes of Cosmon were a group founded by Wing Anderson that had recently moved to Montrose, Colorado from North Salt Lake, Utah. Ray Schlitman was chief of the community and ran the farm. Mark Fetty was office manager and ran the press for all the publications of these scenes. Grover Neff was considered the scholar and historian, and Mary Ann Towle was in charge of the garden as well as freezing and drying food that was stored. Zella Modine, the cook, was fulfilling the 1-year probation necessary to become a full member. The home of these scenes of Cosmon was a well-built 2-story Victorian farmhouse. On that memorable evening in 1951, the old trunk stood in the middle of a high ceilinged upstairs room of this very large house. Fetty, Neff, and Mary Ann, with ceremony, conducted me into the room where Ray was awaiting us. As we entered, he walked over to a desk, removed a small key from its special place of safekeeping, then walked to the trunk, knelt down, and inserted the key that unlocked the old trunk. I love her details. It help you picture it in the mind. I got this whole scene playing in my head. The lid was not opened often and resisted being raised. As it slowly opened, piles of documents were revealed. We all knelt on the floor around the trunk as Ray removed the documents, explaining to me that the trunk contained papers preserved from the late 1880s concerning Oahspe and its publication. Now, over 60 years later, I realized that I may have been the only person still on Earth who has seen the contents of the old trunk. A brief history about the old trunk. S-I-L, I seen it. I got you, bro. I got you. I'm going to send it to you. Thank you, Jamil. A brief history of the old trunk. Letters from Ray Schlitman to Laura Horst that have been preserved in the New Mexico State University at Las Cruces give us a provenance of the trunk and contents. Circa 1950, the old trunk was brought to Montrose, Colorado by George Rose, a member of the board of directors of the Faithless Brotherhood of Light. This group received the trunk from the printer, John Lant, who made the first copper plates and proof sheets from Newbro's first transcription of Oahspe. What? I was not expecting to see that. I did not read ahead, y'all. Hold on. Hold up. Let me go back. A brief history of the old trunk. Letters from Ray Schlitman to Laura Horst that have been preserved in the New Mexico State University at Las Cruces give us a provenance of the trunk and contents. Circa 1950, the old trunk was brought to Montrose, Colorado by George Rose, a member of the board of directors of the Faithless Brotherhood of Light. This group received the trunk from the printer, John Lance, who made the first copper plates and proof sheets from Newbro's first transcription of Oahspe. This group received the trunk from the printer, John Land, who made the first copper plates and proof sheets from Newbro's first transcription of Oahspe, when the Essenes closed their doors and the property was sold. What? Why? Facebook is going out. I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm gonna just record a little short snippet and tell everybody to watch the main channel video. Okay, look, y'all, if it go out, just hop over to YouTube. It came back in for a second. Hold on. This group received the trunk from the printer, John Land, who made the first copper plates and proof sheets from Newbro's first transcription of Oahspe, when the Essenes closed their doors and the property was sold in 1970. Wing Anderson, sea chief of the Essenes of Cosmon, had ordered the burning of the old documents, which were the archives held by the Essenes. Why everybody gotta be so friggin' spiteful? They just, let me tell you, Wing Anderson, he's a bit of a, I'm gonna just keep reading. At the time of the destruction of the archives, faithies who lived in the area took what they wanted of the papers. Ray, realizing the importance of the documents and copper printer plates in the old trunk, took the trunk with him when he moved to Four Winds at Tiger, Georgia. When he passed on into spirit, Virginia Howard, president of Four Winds, gave the old trunk to the printer who was working with Virginia on various projects. As I recall, this printer was located in Tennessee. Later, the printer retired and moved, living near Four Winds. The printer, in turn, gave the trunk to Elizabeth Shuey, and she took it and had it at her community near Ashland, Oregon. Shuey said that faithies who lived in tents in Northern California stole the trunk from her. Oh, boy. In the early 1980s, Sister Cora Bennett of the Cosmon Church in England, but who was living in Australia at the time, was in this country visiting her family and other faithies. Shuey's community was on her itinerary because Shuey had written to Sister Cora about the old trunk and its contents. Sister Cora said the thief of the old trunk from Shuey, Sister Cora said that the theft of the old trunk from Shuey had occurred within a week or two of her arrival there, and that Shuey had been deeply distraught that the dirty hippies who lived in tents in Northern California had stolen the old trunk. Today, we do not know the fate of the old trunk and the precious documents it contained. I wonder if it's still in Northern California. I got a cousin out LA now. I know people in just about every place. I'm like, look, I'm about to send y'all on a mission. At least look into this for me, right? Before I catch me a flight, I need you to just do some footwork for me. Hold on. Sister Cora said that the theft of the old trunk from Shuey had occurred within a week or two of her arrival there, and that Shuey had been deeply distraught that the dirty hippies who lived in tents in Northern California had stolen the trunk. And that's quoted, quote, dirty hippies who lived in tents in Northern California, end quote. I'm gonna have to put that in the title. Hold on, somewhere. Okay. Sister Cora said that the theft of the old trunk from Shuey had occurred within a week or two of her arrival there, and that Shuey had been deeply distraught that the, quote, dirty hippies who lived in tents in Northern California, end quote, had stolen the old trunk. Today, we do not know the fate of the old trunk and the precious documents it contained. The contents of the old trunk. So what you say, Jamil? So based on this, John Lant made a complete copy, not just 500 pages. It would seem to be so, to me at least, right? But I ain't, all of this is just saying he made 500, but it very well could have been more than that, right? Yo, peace. The contents of the old trunk, and we're on page 20 of the PDF document of Celeste's letter. The contents of the old trunk. We're told in documents in the Rio Grande Historical Collection that during the first transcription of Oahspe, each day, Nubro sent the pages he had typed that morning to the printer, John Lant. Okay, wait, so that makes sense, but hold on. Let me read before I add my little 2 cents and could possibly be wrong. We are told in documents in the Rio Grande Historical Collection that during the first transcription of Oahspe, each day, Nubro sent the pages he had typed that morning to the printer, John Lant. Lant then typeset the pages, pulled proof sheets from the plates, and sent the proof sheets back to Nubro. The old trunk contained these original proof sheets for Oahspe, as well as the copper printer's plates. And thinking back on that night in 1951, I realized that Ray and the others present must have given some thought as to how to present the contents of the old trunk. As Ray removed the documents one by one, they were shown to me, and Ray, Neff, and Fetty explained the significance of these precious papers from the past. There was so much in the old trunk that after a while our knees grew tired, so we all stood. In addition to the original proof sheets from Oahspe, there were a number of old letters concerning the publication of Oahspe and the editing done before the first edition was published. There were also Lance proof sheets, which actually showed the notations of editing to be done to the first edition. Look, y'all seen that movie with Limitless? I think it was Matthew McConaughey. Was that Matthew McConaughey? Limitless? Look, if Celeste is watching, or Miss Joan is watching, y'all seen it where he took that pill, right? At the very beginning, of the movie Limitless, and you can find it on Netflix. It was a really, really good movie. It was really good. But it was pretty much about the developing of intelligence, right? And they designed this little pill. I forgot what it was called, but when you take the pill, it actually clears your mind up and it helps you use more than 1% of your brain, right? Literally almost 100% of your brain, which dude became a genius in a matter of minutes, right? Everything that he had ever read or looked at or just even glanced by or just walking through a building or whatever, he was able to recall the details and facts of that thing like none other, like he was still there pointing everything out. The details of books and just glancing through. In college, he remembered all the words. So he used that to get into the pants of this girl he had just saw because she thought he was this super genius. But dude couldn't get right at the beginning. He was an author trying to type his paper and stuff. But once he took this little pill that made him limitless, he began to push out books. His creative streak just kicked in and dude became a genius, a millionaire, all that stuff literally overnight, right? I'm wondering, right? I ain't telling y'all to take no drugs or nothing like that. But that's the beauty about developing your spiritual gifts. You're able to do that, like what they showed in the movie. You're able to do that by simply just developing your spirit, right? And over time, it should be able to get strong like that, and you can recall some stuff. I don't know, Joan. Maybe you can tap into that day y'all was all on y'all knees around that trunk and glancing through them proof sheets, like recall everything you saw. You start typing. Or you dictate, let Celeste type or somebody, Leslie, somebody, everybody. Come on, this is a group thing. Everybody get together. All right, Joan, listen. Okay, remember now, okay, y'all was in the room. Okay, describe all the detail. Right, you can do it. We got faith in you, sis. Look. Okay, look. Jamil said yesterday, OCU said he believes the elite, aka Masons, have the whole Oahspe, while we have only part of the Oahspe. He might be right. Like if they had it, they was giving it to it, they probably putting it under the name of another book, right? Breaking it up in bits and pieces and passing it along like they normally do. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. You know? Okay. But how do we know? And I got a few Masonic publications and stuff, but how would I know it even came from that? You know, because I don't even know what was in the original, right? That's going to require a lot of fasting and tapping in, right? And I need to do better. We'll see. I don't know. Okay, y'all. What was I at? First edition. Thinking back. Okay, let's go here. We'll be at an hour. Okay, hold on. Let's see. 21. Okay, let's finish reading this. What we'll do. Hold on. Page 21. Time be flying by so fast. I said we was gonna read a little bit of the Field Guide to the Spirit. We'll let me see. Let me read a little bit more of this. We're not gonna finish all of this. Let me read a little bit more. And I think we probably gonna have a pause. Yeah. We might not get to it today. We definitely gonna get to it Sunday. Definitely Sunday, because we won't be here tomorrow. Okay. And thinking back on that night, in 1951, I realized that Ray and the others present must have given some thought as to how to present the contents of the old trunk. As Ray removed the documents one by one, they were shown to me and Ray. Neff and Fetty explained the significance of these precious papers from the past. There was so much in the old trunk that after a while our knees grew tired, and so we all stood. In addition to the original proof sheets from Oahspe, there were a number of old letters concerning the publication of Oahspe and the editing done before the first edition was published. There were also Lance proof sheets, which actually showed the notations of editing to be done to the first edition. These pre-publication and post-publication documents were what the Essenes wanted me to see. They had felt inspired to share their great secret with me that Oahspe had been edited before its first publication in 1882, and the contents of the old trunk were the proof. Who would have thought that back here in this day, they would be showing her this and she would be sharing it with us? That blows my mind. That blows my mind. Listen, we weren't even thought about. We weren't thought about for many, many years. All of those of us here now, we weren't even thought about, but they were showing her this, not knowing that she'd be the only one alive when we were ready to receive it. Yo, that blows my mind. Look. There was so much in the old trunk that after a while our knees grew tired, and so we all stood. In addition to the original proof sheets from Oahspe, there were a number of old letters concerning the publication of Oahspe and the editing done before the first edition was published. There were also Lance proof sheets which actually showed the notations of editing to be done to the first edition. These pre-publication and post-publication documents were what the Essenes wanted me to see. They had felt inspired to share their great secret with me that Oahspe had been edited before its first publication in 1882, and the contents of the old trunk were the proof. But perhaps even more important, the original printer's proof sheets of Oahspe were available for study. Also in the old trunk were a number of plates of illustrations jumbled about. The plates and descriptions, especially in Book of Safa, were not carefully organized when Oahspe was printed. When we consider the work required of the angels in giving these plates with their descriptions, we must conclude that the plates in Safa are considered important. Some years ago, like many new students, I realized the problems in Book of Safa, and I tried unsuccessfully to put the tablets and their descriptions in order. Vernon Wabshaw, 7th era Faithist, put together an ordering of the plates and descriptions into a loose leaf binder while he was living on Faith's property in Inyokern, California. I was fortunate to receive one of the copies of this work he titled Safa for Mortals. Safa for Mortals. Hold on. Vernon. I don't know if it's still of it. Let me see. Safa Mortals. Vernon Wabshaw. Yeah. Oh. What? I might have to just come back and post that in here. I don't know, it ain't let me do it here. I'll share it later on Facebook. Okay. This was the most interesting part to me, how other parts of missing books may be in Safa, which is why it's longer now. Could be, Jamil. Could be. Okay. let me go back and read this again. Some years ago, like many new students, I realized the problems in the book of Safa and tried unsuccessfully to put the tablets and their descriptions in order. Vernon Wabshaw, 7th era Faithist, put together an ordering of the plates and descriptions into a loose leaf binder while he was living on Faithist property in Inyokern, California. I was fortunate to receive one of the copies of this work he titled Safa for Mortals. You know what? I just thought about something going back to the hippies in California. I wonder if the dirty hippies from California who stole the trunk stole it because they knew what was in it, or possibly what was in it, or they stole it because it was interesting and they thought they might come up, right? Like some money or something valuable that they can pawn off was in it. I don't know. But if they actually did steal it, and it wasn't what they thought it was, they probably would have just discarded it somewhere, like hid it, threw away, like completely thrown away a treasure, not knowing what they really had, right? Because they were possibly thieves, and this had no value to them whatsoever. It's just a thought. Could be. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna keep reading though. I was fortunate to receive one of the copies of this work he titled Safa for Mortals. Oh, you think the hippies were faithists also? That makes it even worse. And they called them dirty hippies. Possibly. You remember hearing that before? Okay. So maybe they did know what was in it. But dang, that's just bad all the way around. Everybody was stealing. Why not? Listen, we got this treasure. How about we can set up something we all can come enjoy it instead of just stealing it, one person passing it to another. It's, why can't we all just work together? Why can't we all just get along? Right? It'll make things so much more easier. It'll be easier. Y'all get it. I was fortunate to receive one of the copies of this work he titled Safa for Mortals. A few students in Guatemala, the Americas, have always been aware that there was editing done before publication of the 1882 edition, but this information seems to come as a shock when it is first learned. The portions which were edited out have come to be called, quote, the missing parts, end quote. Then, as I read the portions which had been edited out, I did not understand the significance of what I held in my hands. I was only surprised that editing would have been done, and I wondered then, as I wonder today, why anything would have been edited out. So, sis, Joan, you read it, right? Let's try and recall some of all, like, tap in. You probably got more, I ain't gonna say probably, you have more wisdom and knowledge than all of us, right? Surely the Creator allow you to bring all of it up from deep down in your sha-na-na that you read so many years ago. Do you recall any of what you saw? I'm curious. It's just a question. Okay. I was only surprised that editing would have. Hold on, let me go back. The portions which were edited out have come to be called, quote, the missing parts, end quote. Then, as I read the portions which had been edited out, I did not understand the significance of what I held in my hands. I was only surprised that editing would have been done, and I wondered then, as I wonder today, why anything would have been edited out. Over the years, since Oahspe was first published, much has been discussed about the editing. There were various versions of why any editing was done, among them that the angels had made mistakes, which they corrected through the editing, or Nubro was not a clear channel, or that Lant and others had changed wording they thought needed to be corrected. Briefly, this is what the Essenes told me about the editing. Most of the editing occurred in the portion, hold on. Most of the editing occurred in the portion of Oahspe called the 1882 edition, quote, the books of the interlude, end quote. The books of the interlude are those books which are between the books of history. In other words, the books between book of the Ark of Bond and God's book of Esra. From the old letters and proof sheets, I learned that there was a book which may be lost called the Book of Zimmers. Zemers. I heard Cosmon talk about that. Excuse me. From the old letters and proof sheets, I learned that there was a book which may be lost called the Book of Zimmers. I later learned that Zimmers are chants or prayers intended to be used in group worship. Some sources feel that Zimmers are songs, but I did not see any written music in the old trunk. See tablet of Quadeth is seventh column from right, the symbol next to the bottom, Zimmer music, written notes of. I noted there was also mention of the Book of Japheth, see 1882 edition, plate 65. As I recall, both Book of Japheth and Book of Zimmers apparently were missing from the old trunk. There is a section at the end of the Book of Safa titled The Basis of the Ezra Bible. There is no relationship of this section to preceding chapters on faithist degrees in the Book of Safa. The basis of the Ezra Bible is followed by the section Ahura Mazda, creator, with reference to Vedan gods and mention of Brahma, Buddha, Mithra, and Shem, also called Vidyu, India, all obviously Asian. This is followed by the heading Basis of Vedi, Basis of Vedi, VEDE. I cannot help but wonder if these sections might possibly have been a part of the Book of Japheth, for again, there is no relationship of this material to Book of Safa. As I read Basis of Vedi, some of the verses seem to read like descriptions of symbols in a tablet. Oahspe has several tablets without apparent text, including 3 tablets that are puzzling, showing the sky with sun and moon and various animals. These 3 tablets are Ram, Aries, Bull, Taurus, and Lion, Leo. These 3 animals, Ram, Bull, and Lion, are also in the tablet of Benin. In the 1882 edition of Oahspe, a notation on the tablet of Aries instructs us to see Book of Japheth. The meaning of these animals, why they are in the tablet of Benin, and why there is a tablet featuring each animal is not explained. Book of Safa, section Basis of Vedi, verses 16 through 20, seems to relate to these tablets. Preceding verses are interesting to consider when thinking about the meaning of ram, bull, and lion. Over the years, articles have been written about these three tablets, offering suggestions as to their interpretation, for why they were included without any information to explain why they are. Hold on, let me go back. Over the years, articles have been written about these three tablets, offering suggestions as to their interpretation, for why they were included without any information to explain why they are there remains unknown. You will note that these three tablets are inserted in random places in various editions. Wabshaw discusses the confusion about these three tablets in his book, Sci-Fi for Mortals, referencing Denon and quotes from Oahspe, but none of those writings about the tablets mentioned Book of Japheth. I remember reading through the first time, and there was I remember some of these figures, these charts, so these plates in here. I was like, well, let me just keep reading. Maybe it's going to talk about this. Maybe it's going to we're gonna get the reference for this, and we'll come back to the picture. There were definitely some that there was nothing there for, right? It's just there, like, why is it here? You know, like, what is it even talking about? Why is it even included? It seems so out of place. Okay, let me read this last sentence again. Wabshaw discusses the confusion about these three tablets in his book, Sci-Fi for Mortals, referencing Denon and quotes from Oahspe, but none of those writing about the tablets mention Book of Japheth, because Book of Japheth is referenced on the tablet of Aries in the 1882 edition. We know that these three tablets were part of that book. Go ahead. That's a good point. Oh, y'all all bringing out some good points, right? Ema said, if true hippies stole it, I believe they were trying to protect it. They were about peace and love. That's a good point, right? Oh, okay. That is. I agree with that. Jamil said, could be why we have the Apocrypha too. Yeah, you know what, now I'm really interested in reading the Apocrypha. And I have it. Jamil sent it to me. I just kind of opened it, skimmed through it, but I can't even tell you what's in it, what books are there. I can't, because I haven't really gone through it like that. Y'all ready to roll? Yep. All right, so love you. Are both of y'all driving? Y'all riding together? Okay. Well, y'all drive safe. Please get me some good. Y'all going back to Norfolk State? Elijah, y'all going back to Norfolk State? Y'all going back to Norfolk State? Okay. I still need pictures of that. Pictures and videos. Get good. I need good working shots and stuff. All right. Thank you. Okay. Because Book of Japheth is referenced on the tablet of Aries in the 1882 edition, we know that these three tablets were part of that book. There are things that can be discussed about these tablets not directly related to this article and too lengthy to include here. If such a discussion would interest anyone reading this, please let us know. Yes. If y'all watching, yes, it interests us. Please and thank you. I'll read that again. Let me read this again. Let me go back up a little bit. You will note that these three tablets are inserted in random places in various editions. Wabshaw discusses the confusion about these three tablets in his book, Sci-Fi for Mortals, referencing Denon and quotes from Oahspe, but none of those writing about the tablets mention Book of Japheth, because Book of Japheth is referenced on the tablet of Aries in the 1882 edition. We know that these 3 tablets were part of that book. There are things that can be discussed about these tablets not directly related to this article and too lengthy to include here. If such a discussion would interest anyone reading this, please let us know. Perhaps this is a subject for a future article. Yes, Jamil, please let Celeste know. If they're not watching, please let them know. We interested in that. Even if they want to like record themselves doing a video talking about it, if that'll be easier, right? Because we can all just like sit and watch it then, right? They can do whatever they need to do. However, on their time, no rush, no pressure. I'm just saying we interested though. Okay. We'll be at hour 20 minutes. This still goes on. It's talking about the book of knowledge. Let me read the book of knowledge, and then we'll pause after that and pick it back up when we come back Sunday. But y'all can read ahead, and please do, right? Okay. Book of knowledge. We're on page 23 of the document. Well, at least up here, it's my page 23. Yeah, it's 35 pages, so it's page 23. I believe that, Vanette. Yeah, definitely. Everything is not still in the trunk, so it probably is scattered all over tarnation. Book of knowledge. There was another book of the original material transcribed by Newbro, but edited out of Oahspe, Book of Knowledge. Lance proof sheets for this book were in the old trunk. For some reason, the Book of Knowledge was edited very radically, and Jim Denon documented verses that were put into other places in Oahspe, including Book of Being. In 1951, the Essenes explained to me that they planned to publish Book of Knowledge, which they did, and it is available today because of their work. From conversations with English faithists, it appears that Book of Knowledge is only available to them through sources online from faithists in Gautama, thus virtually unknown. One further bit of information about the Book of Knowledge is that the first time the Essenes published the Book of Knowledge, they had not found all the pages. So the first publication was not complete. Eventually, as they worked with the documents in the old trunk, they located the missing pages and they republished the entire Book of Knowledge. Book of Knowledge in the old trunk was composed of 2 parts. One part dealing entirely with the 9 entities, and the second part dealing with prophecy. You know what? I wonder, maybe y'all know, has in here, in Big Blue or any of these other versions, is the full Book of Knowledge, since all the rigmarole, have they since included the full Book of Knowledge inside of here? Like, do we have that from all of what they have? Because if not, I saw that there were some on Amazon that you could purchase, like just the Book of Knowledge by itself. I'm interested. It's interesting because if that might have a little bit, and the Book of Knowledge was an awesome book to me, right? I want to make sure I got all the pieces of that. So if y'all know, let me know. I'm gonna look it up and see. Hold on. Eventually, as they worked with the documents in the old trunk, they located the missing pages and they republished the entire Book of Knowledge. Book of Knowledge in the old trunk was composed of 2 parts. One part dealing entirely with the 9 entities, and the second part dealing with prophecy. I have wondered over the years if the 2 books were combined in an effort to reduce the number of pages in Oahspe, for certainly the 9 entities and prophecies do not seem to be closely related. Yet in working with the tablet of OM, in 2014 to 2015, there is the possibility that the Book of Knowledge and prophecy are more closely related than I had once thought. In the published editions of Oahspe, there is a book of cosmogony and prophecy. The chapters dealing with prophecy came from Book of Knowledge. Wow. It is not surprising then to discover that the original title of this book was Book of Cosmogony. Hold on, now I'm got to read this over again now, read them 2 together. I'm gonna have to separate prophecy from cosmogony and put it together with the book of knowledge. Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh. Listen, because just like with the example of this tree, right? What they did, how they separated it might, just like they separated this from the John Land plate and what the printing that was all around the tree, they've taken that and put it, like I said, not saying that their lowest did it. It could have happened before it got to their lowest, and they just kind of followed the pattern. And they put it here. They separated it, right? And so when you separate it, like the tree is 1, 2, 3 pages away from the information that was on it. And you just kind of keep reading and you don't make the connection. I'm just like, why would you do that? I mean, the truth is there. They didn't hide anything. They just spaced it out a little bit where we're not making a connection that this should be set on top of this. It's just like, to me, it's just like us out here working in the field with what we do, right? With plans for a building. So we go into a building, right? We're one of the specialty contractors that go into the buildings, and you have like the prime contractor who controls the whole building. They got, you got the actual builders, the ones who construct the building, do the foundation, all that stuff. And then you have the electricians that come in and the plumbers that come in and all the different specialty trades to do their work on a portion of the building. We're finishing contractors, right? We can design and we can lay out your furniture however you want. Okay, we got this big open space. What can we put in here? This is the type of furniture we want, right? We have designers, all of this stuff, right? With the overall construction of the building, there are plans, right? And you have these blueprints, and each page is like transparent. Each page is a page for each specialty contractor, right? So each specialty contractor can ask for just their prints, for all the electrical prints from this overall plan. They can take that, they can separate it from everything else and do what they need to do, right? Same thing. We give us the furnishing, the floor plans for the stations and the furniture. Give us that. We get that plan. But if we want to see what the completed finished building will look like, we take all the specialty contracts, right? We take all of that, and as you take them, and all of them are on transparent paper, you can take them, well, you can get them where they're regular paper, you can't see through, but you can also get transparent prints where the last the foundation page is just white, and all the transparent prints laying on top of it. And if you lay all of the prints on top of each other, everything is in its proper place, and you can see the entire building looking at all the prints together, looking down, and you can see everything, how it all works beautifully, right? But if you need to blow up the view a little bit more, just kind of separate it to get to whatever you need to see, separate it from everything else so you can get a clear picture. I just blow up the electrical plan, please. That's all we need to see, right? And sometimes with what we do, we have to look at the electrical plans, because how we're putting our stations and some of the workstations and stuff is powered. So we need to see where the sources are going to go, like all of this stuff, right? So that what they did was they separated stuff that should have been kept together so we could see what was happening. And this is just like, wait a minute. So I gotta, now that they said this, I'm really interested in this now. Now I'm gonna take prophecy and put it together, bless you, with the book of inspiration to see what gives. Jamia said, I told you this is the best part of the letter to me. Look. Vinette said, I believe the creator was waiting on the copper and brown people to stop. I believe the creator was waiting on the copper and brown people to stop celebrating Passover, eating flesh and blood so he could reach us. Right? Because you're not going to be able to see any of this. Like, you're not even, like, it does not compute. Right? It's like, oh man, this is good, Jamil. This is so good. Celeste, Joan, Leslie, Peter. Thank you. We're so gracious. Thank you. Look, hold on. Oh, yeah. Hour 29 minutes. Hold on. Let me read this again. Book of Knowledge in the old trunk was composed of 2 parts. one part dealing entirely with the 9 entities and the second part dealing with prophecy. I have wondered over the years if the 2 books were combined in an effort to reduce the number of pages in Oahspe, for certainly the 9 entities and prophecy do not seem to be closely related. Yet, in working with the Tablet of Om in 2014 and 2015, there is the possibility that the Book of Knowledge and Prophecy are more closely related than I had once thought. In the published editions of Oahspe, there is Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. The chapters dealing with prophecy came directly from the Book of Knowledge. It is not surprising then to discover that the original title of this book was Book of Cosmogony. The title was changed. The title was changed when the chapters dealing with prophecy were added to the Book of Cosmogony. Thus, the Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy we have today. When the Essenes printed the Book of Knowledge, they omitted Book of Prophecy as it was already in Oahspe. Therefore, the Essenes Book of Knowledge is only the discussion of the 9 entities. Oh, that's going to give me a lot to do while we are apart. Listen, okay. I said we was going to pause right there. This is so good. Oh, if it was Sunday. Listen, we got to go, y'all. I can't keep going. I got to get to work. This was really good. Let me put my page number to 24. We're gonna pick back up. Let me write over here. Page 24. I'm gonna mess around and read the rest of this letter while we're apart, y'all. Okay. Okay, so we're pausing on page 24 of this document. When we come back, we're going to pick back up with Tablet of Om and the 9 entities. That's interesting. I have... All right, love you too. Drive safe. Videos and pictures, son. Thank you. It's great for marketing. All right. I have a book. It's called, just like that book that I shared with y'all, The 9 Eyes of Light. There's another one. It's called The 9, written by the same, hold on. But I only have this one in Kindle because I had a hard time getting in print. They may have restocked it. Hold on, let me see. And it's talking about the 9 entities, right? And it was interesting to me. Hold on. Because I never, when I got it, I hadn't even heard the word Oahspe. So hold on. I'm wondering now if this has anything to do. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Orders. My digital orders. 9. Let me see. Open up my Kindle. There you go. Let me see. Sometimes this my iPad be acting crazy. Oh, not right now, no. Library. Downloads from the 9. That's what it's called. Downloads from the 9. By Matthias Fleury. Remember the dude that I told you about? He got like the yoga and meditation like down to a T and shows you. Let me show you again, just real quick. forgot. I did get it. This is it. It came back in print. I completely forgot about that, right? Downloads from the Nine by Matthias Fleury, right? So I'm wondering now if this has anything to do with this as I kind of go through, because this is like a lot of his books. Matthias Fleury. It's been a couple months since I mentioned him. He's talking about yoga, right? But he's literally giving you like the science behind it, and he shows you what happens with the body, the energies around the body, because they did medical studies with this, right? There are a lot of colored pages, and they watch how energy flows through the body, even with the different eye movements and stuff. Like, yo, this is this one thing in here. We are literally like computers. Like the computer was designed off of the human specimen, right? There are ways in here. This blew my mind. You can kind of like reset stuff in your body by being able to do like some breathing. And let's just say, you know how you play video games and they put in codes up, down, left, right, side, up, down, left, right, left, right, down, middle, start. And you get like this combo and restart thing. This, when I was going through this, I'm like, wait a minute. And they was in here, you got to read it to see what I'm talking about. The body can do the same thing, right? But you use your eyes to do it. I'm like, incredible, right? I didn't try it because I didn't, well, I'm being funny now. I don't want to shoot myself to some level that I was unaware of. Well, I'm being funny. But seriously, this book, right? It shows you, and it tells you about like the when they was like did the medical experiments and stuff and hooking up to like they hook up the little nose and stuff to you, and they kind of showing you how energy flows through the body, right? And how the lights around it, like all of this stuff. This was really, really good and scientific. I like books like this, right? Because it takes all the religious dogma and mumbo jumbo away, like all that crap that it's like bring it to a level that's scientific and can be medically proven. Not that everything can be, but everything that creator has designed within us and all this around us, we can literally research, and there's a science behind it, and we can uncover and reveal the steps to that, right? So that's why I really like this, right? And this is like, he got 4 different books going through all of this and the different yoga positions and what actually happens with the different positions, the type of light that comes. You see that one? It's red. Remember what the red one? We'll keep going. The different lights around your aura, the energy that comes to you, like all of this. I'm just showing you some of this. Is really colorful, and this is really, really good, right? It's called The Secret Power of Yoga Adityam, right? This is volume 1, detailed descriptions of ancient practices that expedite the process of enlightenment, right? People think just good yoga exercise. No, my G, this is like literally like resetting cheat codes to operate your instrument. This is really good. I haven't gotten through all of it. This is I would say this is something that you just kind of take your time going through. And he's, like I said, he's a really good teacher. Let's I'm gonna read the back of this. I think it's all of them. This is volume 1, 2, 3. There's 4. Hold on. Okay. This one, volume 1, is detailed descriptions of ancient practices that expedite the process of enlightenment in the 21st century, right? And it's a blurb on the back. If you go to Amazon and pull it up, you can read all of this that's on the front and the back. And I think it even give you a little snippet of inside the book. Volume 2 is asanas associated with gods, rishis, and Vedic legends. Detailed descriptions of ancient practices that expedite the process of enlightenment in the 21st century. And this volume 3 is the practice, right? And this just gets into more detail. It gets into some of this stuff, like when you become really advanced in your meditation. The author is Matthias Fleury. Hold on, I'll type it. Okay. This is also the author of that one book that I told y'all is called Sudden Understanding, and it has the big I on the front. This is some amazing ancient stuff in here. That's all I'm gonna say. He's really good. But anyway, he actually has 40s. I think. What do I do with that one? Yeah. Okay. And so the fourth one is the addendum, right? The practice addendum. The practice book. That's what I was about to say. The practice book now. It gets into like the higher levels, the more advanced meditation, to where you actually begin to see the what do they call it? The what's the word? The cities, right? Or you call them superpowers, where you begin to produce cities. There are different levels of cities that you can reach, right? And some of these things, like there's one yogi that I listened to that he said, matter of fact, he has students that he teach. And from the very beginning, he tells them, he said, listen, once you start reaching these levels of cities and you realize that you can do what most people will call like magic or supernatural things, he said, if I at any time catch you using this, he said, you will no longer be my student. And he was like, and I will ensure that you never use it again. He said, I will close your third eye. I'm just like, well, dang. I was like, I ain't grown to that level yet, because I be wanting to share everything. But I get what he's saying though, because some people, as they begin to develop, and it really shouldn't go in that direction where it's like, oh, look what I can do. You should be developing, and the more that you understand and the more you know, you should become more concealed, so to speak, right? It's like having a concealed carry. It's like concealed carrying a weapon, right? Or even knowing karate or any type of martial art, right? Those who get better and they develop and they advance in the degrees, they ain't out there walking down the street, hey, I know karate, and be out there. They don't be doing all that. They just don't, right? They practice the art of they're just quiet. And if there's a situation that pop off, they not the first ones running into trouble, right? They're going to use foresight. How can I, first of all, just get out of this situation, right? Without even being spotted. You know, it's like they use their wisdom to de-escalate a situation before they even have to reveal that they themselves are a secret weapon, right? It's my secret, right? Nobody else need to know that. But some people, they learn this stuff and they use it for filthy lucre, right? Gain, right? They're charging people to teach them this, right? This is not what you're supposed to do as you learn and you grow and develop, right? You should not be building an empire literally off of the backs of people and just like selling them courses and stuff like that. I mean, just their intentions and their heart is wrong, right? So, but yeah, he is in that book right there, right? The practice, it actually goes into some of those deeper things, those cities when it happens. And it also tells you that this could be dangerous for a novice if you try this, right? And he's just like no holds bar. So the information is in there and he shared with you. I'm just saying, be careful. Don't just go in, oh, I'm gonna try this. You might find yourself in another world. We don't know where you at, what happened to you. They done put you into the crazy house because you trying to skip steps. And who gonna know? Especially if somebody around you, somebody in your family, closest family, if they not half spiritual, they ain't even gonna be able to pick it up. So you gonna probably be in oblivion forever. Till your body die, and then you just there, and you just need to pick up your education from the oblivion world, right? Don't do that. So, but he is a really good teacher, and he lays out the warnings and all of that stuff, right? But anyway, I got on him because he's the same one that wrote the downloads from the now, which is why I I was wondering if this has anything to do with the 9 entities here in Oahspe, right? These are downloads from the 9. But these are really good. Awaken as you read, downloads from the 9. Recognize your higher self effortlessly, right? That's this right here. They have it on Kindle and printed. They may still have them available in print. Like I said, when I first came across it, they were out of them, and I forgot that when I checked again, I saw it and I went ahead and ordered it. That's why I was like, I ain't got it. I forgot that I checked and I did. The other one that I was telling you about was Sudden Understanding. I showed this to y'all a little while ago, but I'm going through this. This is amazing. Hold on. It's the one with this color, the eye. I don't know why it won't go. Go to the cover. That's this book. This is one of the ones that while you reading, like what he said, I'm like, yeah, can't no book do that. It tells you that you ain't got to do nothing supernatural. You ain't got to go into like yoga poses or nothing. They said simply reading the arrangement of the words. And how can you see that? Like, hold on. It's already a light coming from the eye on it, but I don't think y'all can see it. Okay, there. Sudden Understandings by the same guy that did the yoga book and downloads from the 9. He said, while you read it, it's gonna literally. I like how Yoga said it's gonna stroke that third eye. I'm like, yeah, can't no book do that. Like just like the Raja Yoga, they have figured something out to where when you read it, it really, I can't even describe it, but it really does. It's like the words speak to you in this way that I've never really seen words speak before. It's like words on a paper. I don't know, but it's like it's going through multiple levels of me. That's the best way I can explain that. So this is, get it if you can. All right, y'all. So I ain't trying to tell y'all to get a bunch of stuff, but I'm just saying stuff that I'm just like, yo, it's something to this. It's just the words on this page, like they said, it like really does, right? Okay, so I haven't gotten into this. I stuck my my little bookmark in here, but this one too, downloads from the 9. So when I go back through here and look at the 9 entities, I'm gonna kind of compare. I'm gonna do that over the next couple of days. I'm gonna kind of compare some of the stuff that I see in here, right? And I'm gonna just let y'all know this, but it's really good. It talks about DNA and the astral projection. Look, and it even talk about the vortex, y'all. Look, birth of a black 3-dimensional vortex, right? So, and it's ways that they go in here. They teach you a different way of reading, right? I'm gonna show it to you. They said by reading in this manner, page. By reading in this manner, it literally activates parts of the brain that have been dormant. I'm like, yo, it's did something. Because at first I'm gonna shoot. Wait a minute, hold on, what's happening? I'm like, hold on, wait. But I don't feel nothing bad. I was like, wait a minute, let me go back. So a couple days I did that. I'm like, wait a minute. Because they teach you how to read this, right? They teach you how to read this. And then it becomes like really easy. Like you're like, what in the world? Like there's a method to reading this. They explain it to you and walk you through it, right? But this is the way your eyes move, what it's doing while you're reading, your eyes, they're doing this method that connects with the brain. It's like a resetting something. Remember, I was just talking about the joystick, the code, up, down, left, right, left, up, down, A, and it does something on the thing. This is what I got when I began to read this. That's what it's doing. The way the eyes are moving and going up and down, scanning and stuff, it activates parts of the brain that lies dormant. So if y'all believe me, just like get it and test it. I mean, you ain't gonna speak demons or nothing into your soul. I hadn't had it for a little while to just, work out my spookiness to realize, wait a minute, I ain't gonna be demon possessed by reading this, going through this method. And they kind of explain it a little bit and how they was doing it back in the ancient days and how it literally helped to increase your intelligence like that, right? So, but it's good. Yes, that's the book, Shebrew. Thank you. Malachi, shalom, shalom. Oahspe College University, shalom. Yes, that's the book. Sudden Understanding, the Power of Multidirectional Reading. Yes, that's the book. Dawn, you said y'all read it first. I did. I'm almost through it. Matter of fact, and I still didn't post it. Is Kendrick here? I said there was something I was going to post the other day when I was talking about when you post pictures and put little stories with it. There was something out of Sudden Understanding. I was like, oh, yo, like people need to see this. Like you just got to read this. And it goes into fear, right? And it's really good. It's really good. There's a whole section on literally purging yourselves from unwarranted fears and fears that you have that like make no sense, even fears that do make sense because of early childhood trauma. I'm just telling you, I'm just gonna make appointments to come read your library. Well, come on, auntie, you know where I live at. Come on. Okay. Was that the black or red book? Downloads. Wait, hold on. Which book you talking about, Jamil? Which book you talking about? See, if I click on the link, it's gonna knock me off of YouTube. So I gotta like cut, copy, and paste. Oh, the scanning. It's the orange book. It's orange. It should be orange, like orange and yellow. Yeah. Can you see it? Yeah, reddish orange. Yeah. Yeah. It's a Sudden Understanding. The Power of Multidirectional Reading. Recognizing Who You Are Not by Matthias Fleury. This is so good, y'all. I got stuff in my library today that I would have never had. I called the devil when I was a Christian. I'm like, you know what? I got to be had been the ignorantest little thing alive. But these things have helped me grow in leaps or bounds. I was showing paper pages. Hold on, what you talking about? Jamia. Paper pages. Oh, you talking about the secret power of yoga? This is the addendum. It's 4 parts of this. This is like the last one. This goes to the actual practice book, which is the 3rd book. When I had to open up with the lights and stuff, the colorful pages. Yeah, that was like the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd book. You're talking about these, Jamil. This is one. Secret Power of Yoga, added yam. I actually put you getting them all. Oh, you're just trying to help OCU. Okay, yeah, I put the name of this up here. That's the one I typed in. You just got to go back up a little bit. I didn't leave the link, but I did put the name and the author. Yeah, so shucks. I think I got his whole library already. But definitely, y'all, them like this. It's a 4 book. This is like part 1 is going into detail. And it's gonna this is a little bit more history, but it's it gives you like all the poses and the different ones, and back in history in the ancient days, where they were using it, how they were using it, all this good stuff, right? So it's pictures that go along with it that show you the different places on your body where these different lights will be activated according to the lights that go up and down your spine, which we call chakras, the energy circles, the wheels, the vortexes, the currents of energy, that, right? He is really good, right? So all of these, I think all of these, you should be able to fly by the time you get done studying this stuff right here. At least be able to at the snap of a finger, be able to project your spirit out and just learn and all of this stuff, right? So I'm moving a little bit slow because I want to make sure that I ain't gonna get stuck out somewhere, right? I'm that one that's, oh shoot, I'm out my body. I'm gonna walk around my house, see what everybody doing. Do I want to go outside the house yet? Stick my head out. Oh, yep, look the same. And I just kind of stay around my house for a while. Come back. Oh shoot, this works. Like, whoo. I don't know that I'm ready to go past my house yet. Just but yeah, y'all, it's I don't know. It's something, I'm telling you, it's something to all this. I ain't no expert. I'm just learning like everybody else. So, but yeah, y'all check that out if you want to, right? I ain't telling y'all go spend all this money to do that, but I'm just saying the information is there, and I found it to be from what I've looked, tested, it's trustworthy from my personal experience. All right. Kente, heal. Shalom, shalom. All right. Hold on. That's on my list too, OCU. My goal next year to flash the libraries of heaven. Yeah, I know, right? Listen, you gotta, in order to get that information, like you really have to, like you gotta like really, really be disciplined in your fast. Like I still be struggling with my fasting now, right? I be struggling, I be fasting, but I be cutting my time short to what I say I'm gonna do, right? I be like, okay, that was enough. Cause also when I fast, sometimes I ain't gonna say it takes a lot of energy. Clearly, you're gonna go through like energy changes while you're fasting, and you get these big bursts of energy for like weeks when you do long fast. But the thing that happens with me, and it kind of it tires me out, is my dreams. They just go like nonstop, and it's like it's like my body is literally like there. So that's why it's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna cut it short because I don't know if I got the stamina for this right now. And every time I fast, it's just like, it's like they be waiting for me. And I'm just like, wait, slow down. And because literally when I close my eyes, it's like the spiritual world is going like nonstop. And by the time I wake up, and that happens night after night after night after night. And I'm just like, I want to get some sleep without all of this, right? So I'm still going through that, like, look, y'all just leave me alone. And it's like, I want it, but then when it happens, it's like it's too much. And I just like, I'm cutting this fast short, And so I want to be better. I don't really want to do that, but I got to figure out a way to make sure I stay balanced when that stuff begins to happen, because it uses like a lot of my physical energy, if that makes any kind of sense. Like that, it baffles me. Like my body is laying there, like my physical body is laying there. But it's like when I come back in my body, it's like I didn't just like ran a marathon. I'm backing out for like 2 hours straight and I'm exhausted. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I'll be really refreshed. But then that times when I get like these back to back, constantly going, it's like, it's draining me even when I'm resting. So I don't know how to control that yet. So that's why it's like, nope, I'm not fasting. I want to, but it's like that part, that's what I'm having trouble with right now. How to control that and not to be drained and stuff. I'm sure there's a way, but I haven't figured it out yet. If y'all have, help us out. Like seriously. But yeah, mom, shalom. I've learned that you need a guardian angel. Like they be there, but I'm like, look, I be like Malachi, what is we doing here? All right, y'all, let's go. I gotta get out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. I be saying I'm gonna read ahead sometime, but sometimes my intentions is good. Sometimes my time schedule, I really just don't get a chance to, right? Because when the day winds, it's just sometimes I just don't get to it. I hope I will tomorrow as I rest. finish reading ahead of some of this letter and look into some of this and seeing if some of the stuff from downloads from the nine has any kind of semblance. Did I say that right? If it's some of the same stuff, using like some of the same terms that the 9 entities from Oahspe. That's what I want to look at and see. I don't know, because stuff is just spread all over the world now under different names. So I don't know. Please read it with us. What, this? Oh, no, you talking about the book. I'm sorry, Celeste's letter, right? Because it's like you get the first time feels and everything. That's what you're talking about, Vanette? All right, okay. Maybe I will. Maybe I just hold off, right? And I'll be excited just like y'all. If y'all don't want me to read ahead, then y'all don't read ahead. I know you got it. That's what you're talking about, Vanette. We all get the first time feels together. Okay, all right. So I won't read ahead. I mean, y'all got a pinky promise. Y'all ain't gonna read ahead either. So we all get them feels at the same time. Pinky promise? Okay. All right. So none of us gonna read ahead. We got it, but we'll all get the first time feels and reading it together. Okay, I promise. All right. Which book has the lines to activate your eyes again? The Sudden Understanding book. That's it. Sudden Understanding takes you all the way through the book first, and then towards the end, it starts you in that, right? I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but it does at the end of Sudden Understanding. It does, but downloads from the 9. It's a lot of it in here. It's a lot of it in yeah. With each chapter, and what it is. Let me tell you what it is. Okay. So this would actually be, it's weird. So you're going to read it. Okay. So say this is this page. I'm not exactly sure which page this is. Well, all this is really is just a rereading of what you just read in a normal English fashion that we normally read here in America from left to right. But they put it in this dimensional form, and it's actually I haven't gotten this far. We see these 4 corners. I haven't made it to this particular one yet. I'm at the ones where it's a few different ways of reading it. I'm more on like these, right? But all of this is filled in. So what it's teaching you to do, the section where I'm at, it's a couple different ways they lay this out. And they take you step by step. So what's going to happen is it's going to teach you, and the letters are going all different ways, right? But it's teaching you when you read. Now you're reading the same thing you just read in the previous chapter, but it's just in a different format, and your eyes are going different. You're going to read the same exact thing, like the same exact paragraph you're going to read, but it's going to be in this layout, and you're going to read like up and down and around, up and down and around, up, down and around, right? And it's the different ones. When you go over here, this is going to be a different way. So it's using a different methods of moving your eyes to read this stuff, and it does something. It does something, right? I was like, I feel a little bit smarter. I don't know how. Even if it's just, I know how to read in a different way that everybody else do. Right, but seriously, I'm playing. I be joking around, but seriously, it's going to give you the details and what happens, right? But what I did notice, right? After I did this, and they said this will begin like just working in you, even if you leave it alone and come back for a while. What you're teaching yourself and what you activate is going to keep working in you in the background, even if, like I said, even if you're not doing it consciously, unconsciously is going to work in you. But what I began to notice is that I was able to start picking up patterns a lot faster. I was able to see patterns within things that I wouldn't normally see. That's like one of the first things, like right now, that's definitely prominent, and clearly you taught to see patterns, but there were like patterns that aren't visible for other eyes to see, if that makes sense. They're not obvious patterns. It's like you're seeing patterns behind patterns, like, wait a minute, hold on, Don't see that? I'm like, no, we don't. What you talking about? It's that, like, it activates something. Yeah, son. Hold on. So yeah, that book. All right, y'all. So I gotta go. Hold on, I'll call you right back. All right, yeah. Joy. Hey girl, hey. I ain't seen you in a while. I know, she said, working on my scariness. Yes, Dawn, just like EMDR triggers something in the brain. It does. Cosmine, Cal, Shalom. You in the house, but we all about to roll out. And you probably been here for a while. But y'all, that's it. Let's go ahead and get out of here. So if you miss it, just kind of when the video ends, just go ahead and just, if you want to jump to the end at all of these books that I was telling you about, just jump to the end to get it, write it down if you didn't. And I'll try to, in the community section today, it's going to be a little while. Everything that I shared with y'all, I'll put it in there with the links from like Amazon, right? Because I get all my stuff from Amazon. And the links that I give y'all, I don't get paid, they're not commissioned or nothing. I just give y'all the same link that I use to purchase mine from, or whatever. You can find it anywhere, but I'm going to show you exactly who got it. All right, so with that being said, y'all, it is Friday, December the 30th, 2022, day 302 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1321. Today, we spend all the time reading more of Celeste, Joan, Leslie, and Peter's letter about Oahspe and the old Trump. We found out some really, really good information, especially the separation of the book of prophecy from the book of knowledge. And now the book of prophecy is with cosmogony. That is, that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. Hey, which one of y'all is watching me? That wasn't me that just said mom. Like, you would think I was saying hey to my mom. See, I always use color things. That's one of my kids upstairs watching. Hey, don't be typing stuff under my name. You can come talk to me. Because them and they shenanigans sometimes. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and get out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. And Father, we thank you that you are immutable. Continue blessing all of us. Keep the family safe while they're out and they go about their day. Bless them all. Bless them all. Increase the work of their hands and their wisdom and their peace. And all things good, all things good. We thank you for growth and ever progressingness. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I will see y'all back here Sunday morning. Remember, because the Sabbath has changed from for this moon cycle. It was spotted last Saturday. So hold on. What about last Saturday? Last Saturday? Yeah, last Saturday on the 24th. I remember a quick cheat sheet way to remember the Sabbath for the moon cycle is whatever day the new moon shows, that is the day the Sabbath will be for that moon cycle. I didn't figure that out until like a year in, after I had been tracking, right? And it was funny. I remember that day. I'm gonna say creator. I heard the creator say, go back and look at your stuff. I'm like, okay. So I look, I'm like, okay, what? I'm looking. Pay attention. Like, okay, what? Look at the full calendar. So I looked at my full calendar because I was marking the phases of the moon on the calendar. And I began to notice over the whole year the pattern of the Sabbath days and the showing of the new moon. They all coincided with one another. So whatever day the new moon showed for that moon cycle, say if it showed like this moon cycle, it put his head out that evening for a couple hours. You will see it probably for like 2 to 4 hours. On new moon day, which would be the evening of the last day of the current month, right? So it showed on like Saturday evening, right? And as you count from there, that'll be new moon, it'll be technically new moon nights, but the first day of the next month wouldn't be until the next day. So even though the moon showed that was a night, that can be counted as day one, but the first night, but the first day is not actually until the next day. So counting from there, days of work, daylight, you work during the day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it will always come back to Saturday. Or if we spotted the new moon on Monday, the Sabbath would line up for all the Mondays for that moon cycle. So that's a really quick, easy way to remember whatever day. If you lose track, you ain't figured out how to count, that's an easy cheat sheet way to remember when the Sabbaths are actually according to a creator's calendar. Figure out which day the new moon was shown in your hemisphere of the world where you live, right? At key, it has to be where you live. If you're living in America, you can't be go looking at Jerusalem, right? Because of the time zone differences. If you do that, if you live in America and you're celebrating it on when Jerusalem spotted, you've already missed Sabbath. You've already missed it, right? Because you're off with the time, right? If everybody do it according to the time where they live, the landmass where they live, the entire world will be celebrating it together, right? So whatever day you see the new moon show, that's the Sabbath for that moon cycle. So if it shows on Saturday, the next 4 Saturdays, that's the Sabbath. If it shows on Wednesday, the next 4 Wednesdays after that is the Sabbath. If it shows on Monday, the next 4 Mondays is the Sabbath for that moon cycle. Every single month it changes, right? So, all right, just so you remember that. All right, y'all, that's it. Dreadful Cosmon, peace, brother. Shalom, shalom. All right, beautiful people. That's it. I love y'all. I see y'all back here Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.